Hi YouTube, how are you doing, and welcome back to Phasmophobia. Today I got for you another exciting announcement about the Halloween update that is going to be coming out for Phasmophobia, probably very soon. Now we already know that there's going to be 2 new ghosts in this update. I've made a video about each of them if you want to watch them in the top right. We also know that there's going to be a new difficulty called Nightmare Mode. We know absolutely nothing about Nightmare Mode. I am extremely excited. I don't know if they'll announce a teaser for that one, but I really hope so, or otherwise just give me the update. I want to play it already. But yeah, the third thing that we know has just been announced, which is what you're seeing on the screen right here, and what we'll be talking about in this video. It is a difficulty rework. That sounds super exciting, so that's what we're going to cover. Let's hop in. Here's the new difficulty select screen. We're going to go through it from top to bottom. It seems like this is going to be a new map kind of select screen where you can also select difficulty like you can select now. Probably once the patch launches, you can move to the right here and get Nightmare Mode, which is going to be very exciting. Now, we're looking at Bleasdale here, which means that Bleasdale has 16 rooms. It has 3 floors, the ground floor, first floor, and the attic. This seems to me like they're going to factor in the amount of rooms and amount of floors much more when like quantifying the size of the map rather than giving them this label of small, medium, and large. Now there's also going to be some difference between the small maps because some small maps are smaller than something like Bleasdale. Bleasdale's one of the larger maps. And then Tanglewood is obviously very small, very concentrated with 2 floors, 1 basement. So yeah, that is also probably going to make it easier for the future when they're adding new maps. They don't need to think about, is this a medium map, a large map? Is this somewhere in between? Do we need a new category? No, this is just going to make it easier to scale the amount of money the player gets, I'm guessing, with the size of the map. Now, the rest here is about the difficulty itself. So we have professional, and we actually have some clear information about what the difficulties does. Now, for players like myself who have been following this game by like every single patch notes, I have read and I have studied and I know exactly what's been going on in this game. But if you just get into it or you haven't really been following it that closely, you might not even know anymore what professional difficulty means, what intermediate and amateur means. It's kind of unclear right now in the game. It doesn't say it anywhere what it all means. So I'm very glad that they're kind of just going full open with this. I mean, right now there's still stuff redacted, but once this patch launches, obviously this is all going to be you can just read what the difficulty means, which I think is a lot nicer for players. It's a lot more clear. So let's go through what this difficulty means. Some of it is redacted here. The ghost, and then just a big black box. This is kind of unclear. I think that this is referring to the everyone and alone status of a ghost. It now says on the screen when you start a match, when you're playing professional, we don't know if the ghost responds to everyone or alone, whereas before it used to say it responds to everyone or it responds to alone, because that's a characteristic that the ghost has. So I think that might be what is in here, but it's obviously very hard to tell. No setup time. I think this refers to the timer that you have in the truck. That's on amateur, I think it's 5 minutes. On intermediate, it's 2 minutes. And on professional, you have no setup time. This means that during this period, you cannot be hunted. The ghost is active. You can drop your sanity, everything, but you just can't be hunted. It's like there's one big crucifix covering the entire map for that period. That's basically what that is. And then here, we have the grace period coming into the difficulty. Now, the grace period is at the start of a hunt. The ghost will stand still. You can't see it, but it will stand still. It will start messing with the electronics already, and then after a grace period, the ghost will start moving and it can actually kill you. Now, the shorter this grace period is, the harder it is to get away quickly and to not, like, if you're in the back of a room and the ghost starts hunting at the door and the grace period is very short, you might not be able to get out of the room before the ghost kills you, which is terrifying. So it seems like they're bringing that into the difficulty. Might mean that on Nightmare Mode there is no grace period. Oh my god, that's gonna be terrifying if they actually do something crazy like that. That's gonna end up with me getting killed all the time. But that might be a little unfair, because then the ghost could just start on top of you and kill you instantly. I don't know. Long hunt duration. Hunts on professional last 50 seconds, and then on intermediate and amateur they're shorter. I'm not exactly sure how short, because I basically only play on professional. But this might mean that they're gonna make them even longer on Nightmare Mode, which sounds also pretty scary. Now, sanity pills are being brought into the difficulty, which could be in a few ways. It could either completely disable sanity pills, that might be something for nightmare mode, and it could also reduce the amount of sanity you regain from using them. So it could be that for professional, you only regain like 20 or 10%, and then for intermediate, it's 30 for amateur, maybe even more for amateur than right now, because right now, every sanity pill just gives you 40% sanity back, even on multiplayer, which is always a bit unbalanced, because on multiplayer you obviously have more people, so there's less sanity pills per person, so it's much easier to stay healthy when you're playing solo than in a team, but it's also easier to do the quest quickly, so I guess it kind of evens out. But if they're also going to make the sanity pills heal less, then that's going to be even stronger, because then it's really going to be very hard to stay high sanity in a team of like 4 people. Okay, and then the next one, Fusebox starts off. That's already the case right now, and it's actually a really important thing in the game, in my opinion, because I think on amateur it's still the case that there's one room where the ghost is. That room starts cold, and then all the other rooms start at like 15 or like 12 degrees Celsius. So what you can do is you can take the thermometer, go in the house, check every room, and you find that one room that's cold, boom, you found the ghost room. That used to be the case on every difficulty, which was incredibly easy, and everyone was using the thermo. It was kind of getting very still. I'm so glad that they switched up that strategy. And now that's no longer possible. Now every room starts cold. When you turn on the breaker, the temperature slowly rises, which is very important for the balance of the game, in my opinion, because it really enhances that early period where you're just looking around for the ghost and it's making noises in the distance and it's spooky. I really like that phase. And then the last one is very hard to see. It says places at the end. So what I'm thinking is that this says hiding places. So it's something about hiding places. Now, what could it be about hiding places? It could be that the ghost opens hiding places like it does now. Maybe it's not going to do that anymore on the easier difficulties. That could be the case. Or it's going to refer to if you have to be quiet in them, basically. I don't think it's going to be the amount of hiding place, but because I feel like that would be more a characteristic of the map itself than it would be like something you procedurally generate. This doesn't seem to indicate that they're gonna change up the maps in any way, because this very much seems fixed, like 16 rooms. It's not like you can click up plus and minus rooms and it's gonna recreate Blisto for you. I mean, could be something in the far future. I don't entirely know if I'm a fan of the procedural generation idea, but yeah. That's not something that's been announced or anything. It's just something that came to my mind while reading all these things. But yeah, that's basically what it seems. Obviously, there's going to be a nightmare difficulty, which we can kind of speculate, and I have speculated about that during this video by just seeing what they have put here on the screen. Is kind of like these are the difficulty modifiers that they have considered. So these are the things that might change for nightmare mode and might be much harder for nightmare mode and easier for the easier difficulties. But yeah, I think this is interesting. I'm glad they are just going full open and showing all the difficulty modifiers, so it's much clearer for people getting into the game now what it all means. I think that's great. Let me know what you think about the new difficulty select screen. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. And if you want to join the live streams, we're always live over on Twitch at 7 p.m. Central European Time. Thank you very much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.